Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. I am Dan Hohlfeld. Thank you for joining me. And before I jump in today's article, I just want to give a thanks to all of you viewers out there for your subscription and your liking my videos. And I want to say, please make comments. I try to respond to those comments as much as I can. Sometimes YouTube doesn't notify me of new comments, so I'll later go back through the video and be like, oh shit, somebody left a comment and it was whatever 4 weeks ago and I didn't see it. I don't know what's the deal with their notification system is, but I don't always see them all. That's why you don't always get a response if you're asking a question. But I try to respond to those. And like I said, I appreciate making the comments and the suggestions because you are what makes this channel. Because if I didn't have the viewers, there'd be no point in doing it. So thanks again for that. And I'm also doing a lot of research ahead. These, not the next coming few episodes, but farther down the line, we're talking probably like episode 6 from now, is going to be some pretty groundbreaking stuff. I mean, I'm not a real history buff myself, but I've been looking into something that's like, oh my God, there's something here. And it was suggested from, of course, the viewers, and that's much appreciated. But, it might get a little, you hit these topics that people don't agree with you on, and it smashes their paradigm. They don't like it. But that's going to be a jaw-dropping episode. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm sure you can speculate what it is, but I just can't believe that we've been lied to that long. Anyway, let's move on to this new article I want to talk about. Billionaire helping develop NASA spacecraft says aliens are here, but it's covered up. Now, this is by the gentleman of Robert Bigelow. He's 73, CEO of Bigelow Aerospace. And it's basically an expandable spacecraft which inflates in space that he's working on. And I got a clip here of it. Let's bring that up quick. This is on the Daily Mail. Again, here, comments come as a surprise considering his company has worked closely with NASA in the past, which denies any evidence of aliens. Of course, NASA's going to deny that. But, okay, here's his expandability module that he's working on for NASA. It's called BEAM. So it's basically, it's the first inflatable space habitat to be attached to the International Space Station. SpaceX commercially resupplied service mission on April 8th, 2016. It's made of aluminum soft fabric beam, which is designed to pack down into a relatively compact. And then once it expands, it goes to 13 and 10. So that's pretty crazy. There's a little video down here. We'll watch it. Very interesting in of itself. Is this something that's like, oh, this is great big technology? It's like, no, it's not groundbreaking, but I'm going to address why I brought this article up here in a minute. Okay, so basically you fly that out into outer space. It's small. Then they can attach it with their robotic arm there. And what does this mean? It means more expandability. Keep building onto it. And then it'll inflate here. And it's undergoing testing right now. They're testing radiation levels. I believe they want to do it for a couple years here before they decide that it's a feasible thing to be doing. But definitely pretty cool. But is this like groundbreaking shit here? Hell no. And of course, it's like I said, they got in here. They're checking for temperature and radiation levels. Okay, so back to the normal article. Now, why this is so big? It's so big because he basically is saying here, hey, if NASA's not going to do this, we're going to take this to the next level and let, SpaceX private industry do it. And that's why this is going to be big, because if NASA's going to sit there and hold shit back, boom, this industry is going to take off. Now, how we got into this, let's go back, let's take a step back here. So a UFO encounter his grandparents had. And then after he heard that, his obsession began. And that's why he made that logo. And he had his own close encounters. He did not want to go into detail, of course. If I bring up the wiki here real quick on Robert Bigelow, look at his story here. At age 12, he decided that his future lay in space travel. Despite his limitations in mathematics, he resolved to choose a career that would make him rich enough that one day he could hire a scientific expertise required to launch his own space program. Until then, he would tell no one, not even his wife, about this ultimate goal. Think about that. Here's a guy, his grandparents have a UFO encounter. They tell him about it. He gets so obsessed with it that he thinks of a way to make money so he can do what he actually wants to do, because he knows it's going to take a lot of money to build all this stuff. So then he founded his commercial real estate, which is hotels, motels, and apartments. So he started that through the 1960s through the 1990s. And then he founded the Bigelow Aerospace in 1999. Okay, then we look here later in 95, he founded the National Institute for Discovery Science to research and advance study of various fringe sciences and paranormal topics, most notably ufology and organizational research, cattle mutilation, and black triangles. I just talked about that a few weeks ago. And then it was disbanded in 2004. And then he indicated that he plans on spending up to $500 million to develop the first commercial space station, the amount that NASA expended on a singular space shuttle mission. Bigelow Aerospace has launched 2 experimental space modules, Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, and has plans for full-scale manned space habitats to be used as orbital hotels, research lab, and factories. Hotels in outer space, folks. That's pretty fucking cool. But like I said, this isn't groundbreaking by any means. Obviously, from what the video has shown you, the whole reason I brought this up was because it's like, okay, here's a guy, private guy in the industry. He knew he wanted to build something, but he knew he had to make money, so he did something he didn't really care about, making hotels. Well, I guess it's kind of designing, so it's maybe in the alley a little bit, but he really wanted to go to space. Now he's got the money to do that, and now he's going to push through. And now we're going to see that private industry, and I know we discussed this before on the show, the private industry will start to take over. NASA won't be able to contain this shit anymore. And now it's just going to pop. Just like I said, that bridge before, it's just going to, you can't hold it back anymore. It's going to pop open. And he's also a subscriber to a widely held conspiracy theory that the U.S. government and others across the globe know that aliens are here on Earth and even interact with them. But it's all kept top secret from the public, aims fears over impact it would have on religion and the rule of law. I think that would have been true in the old days, but I think it's like the cat's out of the box. It's been out of the box. There's still a lot of people that deny that this even is real, that aliens are here, but it's so freaking obvious if you take a little bit of time. I don't know how many, you can have so many freaking witnesses come forward and say, I'll swear on the Bible that I've seen this, I did alien recovery, I worked in these secret black projects, and then you have these dark documents of these spacecrafts being built. We got video of them doing UFO ones, the shape or the saucer shaped, experimental craft. How the fuck would they come up with that stuff? Oh, we're flying planes. Let's try to make one circle and try to make that work. No, they seen UFOs come in, and then they said, let's back engineer it. And then they're having a hard time with it back then, but I'm sure they got it all well ironed out by now. There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. And I spent millions and millions and millions, probably spent more as an individual than anybody else in the United States ever has spent on this subject. Are you worried people are going to call you crazy? And he's like, well, I don't give a damn. I don't care. See, that's what we need. We need people to be like, I don't give a damn. I don't care. Me too. Not that long ago, I wouldn't even be on this show talking about this stuff. I'm to the point where I don't even give a shit anymore. If you don't like the program, don't tune in. I don't care. I mean, I appreciate the support, but I'm here because I'm telling my truth, and that's what it's about. I hope you tell yours. And he said on 60 Minutes Sunday night, there is an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race. How many military officers, political figures, intelligence agencies, scientists, entertainers, and yes, billionaires have to speak this truth before the investigative journalists, yeah, probably CNN, investigative journalists in America figure out the biggest news story in history has been right under their noses for 70 years. That's what I said. This comes out, this has been the biggest story ever. Aliens are here, they're engaging us, they have this technology. Yes, what does that mean after you get done freaking out about it? It's going to transform the world, and that's what we want. Because everything's been so freaking suppressed. You wouldn't have people like committing suicide because there wouldn't even, you would have a job you would love and stuff. It'd be, oh, you can't even imagine the world how it would be. Let's play the small clip of the interview they got here.
NASA and government still has a role because it's still in a sort of embryonic stage. And there will come a time when it's not necessary at all. And the commercial world will absolutely be the leader for everything in space.
But what about the idea
stop right there. And that's what I like. He said those words perfectly, and that's the whole reason I brought this clip up, was because of that video right there. NASA can't be the leader anymore because now the private enterprise is going to take over and they can't hold this back. What's going to happen? People are going to go out in space. They're going to see aliens. It's going to come so quick they won't be able to contain it. It's going to be freaking amazing.
National pride in what we do as nations, of Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. He didn't do that for a private company. He did that for the United States of America, and it meant something.
That lies to us sometimes.
And that created a period of inspiration that hasn't been matched ever since. So now we're looking for a new era that says, all right, how can we now shape this to where it's more accessible for a lot more folks at a lot less cost, and still have safety and reliability at the same time?
That's key right there. Accessibility to everybody, not NASA that contains it for themselves and doesn't let anybody else experience it. They say, just give us our dollars and we're just going to sit up here in this little spacecraft for how many freaking years, and we're not going back to the moon, and it's been how long? Get real. So there we go. Thanks for joining me on this episode. Like I said, I appreciate your support. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And always, I'm on Twitter too. Don't forget that. I think it's over here. And yeah, please keep the conversation going. Next week, we're going to have the whole crew here. We're going to have Dusty, me, and Pete. We're talking about Graham Hancock and old civilizations. Pretty interesting discussion. And there's going to be a lot more after that later on, of course. There always is. We're just getting started in this, folks. So thanks for joining me, and I am out.